Hello, this is Pedro from SoftIron, and in this demo I'm going to show you how to run one of the examples from our HyperCloud examples repository. In this case, we are going to be deploying Kubernetes using K3s. We can find this example in the K3s directory. Here you will find a README with all the information that you need to run this example, but I'm going to be covering all of this in this demo. To run this example, you will need install in your system Terraform and Ansible, and also you will need to make some changes in the repository to adjust the example to your environment. In particular, in the Terraform folder, we will find the Terraform's tfvars file that contains a couple of variables. Here, you will find the network IDs used for these VMs that we might need to modify for your environment. The internal network ID is the network that is going to be used for internal communication between the VMs. And the public network ID is the ID of the network that is going to be publicly accessible from the internet. And the public network IP can be left blank, so one random one gets allocated to the VM, but you can actually put one here so that you make sure that the same one gets allocated all the time. In our case, we are going to modify this ID to be a different one. And that's it. Also worth mentioning that you might have to modify the HyperCloud group used, and also the HyperCloud image ID. We are using Ubuntu 20.04, so this can be adjusted to match a similar image in your environment. Another thing that we need to configure is your credentials to access HyperCloud. These are a couple of variables that are consumed in the provider's TF file. And these ones can be set in your environment, as we explain here. So once you have all that configured, you can run Terraform init to set up your environment with all the dependencies that Terraform is going to need. And then after you have that, then you can run Terraform apply to run all the Terraform scripts in this example. This is going to create 8 things. It's going to create 2 K3s agents VMs, another VM to be the server. Then it's going to create another VM to be the load balancer, which is the virtual machine that's going to have the public IP allocated. That is going to proxy connections from the internet to our internet cluster. And then also it's going to create a couple of security groups in our HyperCloud. So if we go to the UI, we will be able to see already that some things have been created. And we will come back to this in a minute. In the meantime, we can see the Terraform code. We can see, for example, the networking file that is in charge of creating the security groups. We are creating one internal one that is going to have everything open, and then the public one, which is only going to allow some traffic on the ports 80 and 443 for SSL connections, and also it's going to allow SSH. Then we can have a look at the main Terraform file, which is just creating the virtual machines. It's creating virtual machines for the K3s servers, virtual machines for the K3s agents, and a virtual machine for the load balancer VM. This, as you can see, is using a module, but this module, we can have a look, is only creating a virtual machine resource in HyperCloud. Yes, you can see it's only creating a virtual machine and nothing else. This module is within the repo. Okay, so this has finished, and this Terraform script also generates an Ansible inventory file so that we can easily run Ansible afterwards. And we can see if this has been generated. This is also mentioned in the README. And here we can see all the IP addresses that our VMs have. And we can confirm that they match. Okay, so once we have all these VMs running, we can run the following Ansible playbook. To install K3s in a cluster. So this is going to, first of all, install HAProxy in the load balancer, routing all the traffic from the internet to the server and the agents. Then after that, it's going to install K3s on the server and then K3s on the agents, and then it's going to add the agents to the Kubernetes cluster. We can see that if we try to open this IP at the moment, we don't get anything. But once HAProxy finishes the install, we should be able to get at least an error. Now HAProxy has been configured and it has been restarted. So now if we reload, we get an error, but this is basically HAProxy trying to send the traffic to somewhere and failing to do so because there is nothing else. Now K3s is being installed. Additionally, a couple of tools are being installed as well in the system, like Helm and Nerdcuttle, so that you can install Helm charts easily, and Nerdcuttle so that you can run commands like you will do with Docker to get into some containers and inspect them. Now that the K3s playbook has finished, if we reload here, we will get a different type of error. This error is actually being served by Kubernetes and is just a 404 telling you that it couldn't find what you were asking for, what you were trying to access. So we can, just to finish with the demo, we can get into the controller and see some things inside. With the kube control command, we can see that there are things running. We can see some core services running, like the kube DNS, metric server, also traffic. And yeah, everything seems to be working. And this is all. Thanks for watching.